Candyman. 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 Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today our movie in the middle is Candyman. Candyman is the 2021 reboot/sequel of the 1992 horror about a hook-handed, bee-surrounded spirit who is brought back to flesh and to this world by a newly featured artist. The movie stars Yahya, Abdul-Mateen, Teyona, Parris, Colman, Domingo, and Nathan Stewart-Jarrett. It is also directed by DaCosta, who has broken the record for the biggest box office opening in the first weekend for a female black director. So that's pretty awesome. I actually first saw the original Candyman just last year, and I really liked it. It was a really great story, something I had never seen before. Very, original, but also, it felt like something that, I feel like people should have known more about. You know, people should have seen more of this movie, and I just hadn't really seen it as up there with the classics, like with Freddy and Jason and all. I say it's a reboot/sequel because there are elements from the first one, from what I remember, that are in this one that makes it seem like a sequel, but I think they're kind of twisted around a little bit so that they're kind of different. So it is a reboot? I'm not quite sure. So definite high for this movie is the visual aspect. Obviously, it's just the production design, the costume design. I don't want to say the aesthetic because social media has ruined the word aesthetic, but this is about artists and the art culture and life. So I'm going to use the word aesthetic. Is really cool because all these little different symbols and things that they, motifs of mirrors and bees and everything is upside down and mirrored and backwards. All of that was just really cool. The art itself, colors that they used, it was very cool because it's pretty much like other Jordan Peele movies where certain visual things have a very specific meaning, or they're kind of like Easter eggs for later on, or referencing other movies. There's also this running bit that they do where they have storytelling aspect or exposition given through this silhouette sort of canvas where you have the characters in this cartoon form, but they're shadows and silhouettes, and the outlines are really jagged and it's very unsettling and very cool, just a way to tell all of this backstory. So that was a really interesting way to do it as well. Now I just want to say something. I did mention Jordan Peele because he did produce this. This is like Get Out and Us, where it's Monkey Paw Productions. He produced it, he didn't direct it. I was actually talking to Jared Samarco from Jared Talks Cinema, and he pointed out that as we were talking about the movie, I was harping on Jordan Peele and his creative process in this movie. However, I do want to emphasize this was directed by DaCosta because a lot of people are talking about Jordan Peele and whether or not the things that happen in this movie are attributed to him creatively. All of the characters as well were really great. The actors did an amazing job because Yahya Abdul-Mateen as this character who's getting affected by Candyman slowly but surely, and he's kind of this, that tortured artist who's obsessed with his work more and more throughout the movie. He was really good. And Teyona Parris as well, who is trying to deal with her boyfriend basically being affected by Candyman while also trying to make it in the art world. That in and of itself, the whole art world subculture of this is a whole thing in and of itself in this movie. Colman Domingo as somebody who was has a very PTSD from meeting Candyman when he was younger and seeing everything that happened there. Nathan Stewart-Jarrett, I loved him. He was very entertaining, very fun. Loved his character. He was great. He was one of the most entertaining parts of this movie. Todd is also in the movie, who played the original Candyman, and he sort of reprises his role in this movie in a little bit of a different take. The scares themselves were pretty good. Candyman, the original, for me, was not so much scary as it was shocking. And I think I can say the same for this one. The scares, the suspense is really good, especially the mystery of what's happening to this main character and what is Candyman going to do. but I don't think it was as scary as it is shocking, because a lot of the kills are incredibly gruesome, like in the original, and so I'm glad that they kept that, because it's not necessarily supposed to be scary in like a jump scare sense. It's supposed to be scary in a bigger picture sense of like, why is this spirit like existing? Why does he exist? Who was he? Was he treated unfairly? And that comes later on in a lot of these themes and the things that happen in the plot. But it is very, very shocking, both in terms of the bigger picture and in terms of the kills themselves. There were a lot of things that I was like, damn, that happened. And again, going along with the symbolism, the angle that they took for this one I thought was really great and very timely. Because in the original Candyman, I believe he was a spirit of a slave. In this one, it's a spirit of somebody or multiple people in this kind of collective spirit who were murdered unjustly. And so that obviously is very timely, unfortunately. It is very relevant to things that we've been seeing in the last forever, but especially the last couple years, especially as they've been highlighted more, the unjust killing of black people. So this was sort of a perfect story to base that around, and I think they portrayed it really well. My biggest low element is that the plot and the themes and messages go incredibly hand in hand here, like most Jordan Peele movies, so we can see that from Jordan Peele's movies in this. That's sort of, that's probably why he produced it, is because it's very closely related to some of his other movies, where the themes and the messages go very hand in hand with the symbolism we see in the plot. In this movie, though, I think, for me at least, it was a little muddled. It's like they knew what they wanted to do in terms of messages and what they wanted to put out there, obviously in terms of unjust killings and everything surrounding that. But the plot for me got a little unclear as to how they wanted to portray it. Because the main character is affected by Candyman throughout the movie. But the more it went on, and the more we learned about Candyman and who it is and how many people really are Candyman, I was confused, why it's going the way it is. Again, the main character gets affected, but how he gets affected and why he's getting affected, I thought they didn't quite make sense to me. And it goes along, too, with the ending. There's this one character who kind of makes a dramatic twist, and I didn't quite buy it or understand why. There is a lot of information given at once in a couple of these scenes, so probably going back and watching it a second time, it'll make a little bit more sense. But I just thought it was like they knew what they wanted to do. They just couldn't figure out exactly the direction to get there. So it does make the ending, while it's supposed to be very shocking and important, and it does feel that way, it just makes it feel like I just can't quite get what you were trying to do with this. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the movie, how it progressed, mostly in terms of plot and why things happen and how they happen, and then the ending. And does it make more sense to you, just how it developed? There is one other very small low, but it's very important, is at the end, I don't know if this was done on purpose. I'm not sure that it was, because I don't know why it would be. Somebody says Candyman to try to release him, but they only say it 4 times. And it's very explicit. Throughout the whole movie, you say it 5 times. I don't know if that was on purpose, or if that was a gigantic oversight in the editing process. I'm not sure. So overall, Candyman is a really great watch. All the creative choices that were made were really great, and really served the plot and the aesthetic of the movie. I just had some issues following it a little bit in terms of plot and what they were trying to get across, because again, they go very hand in hand. But I did really like it. I was really excited for this one, and I think they did a really good job in terms of keeping that tone and the gravity that the original Candyman had, and putting it in this one with a new modern spin on it. I'm going to give Candyman a 3 out of 4. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Candyman, the ending, how you think it compares to the original, which one you like better. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and movies right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.